Okay, let's begin our session today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world you're joining from. Welcome everyone to today's ServiceNow Impact Academy session. Our topic of discussion is Stand Up ServiceNow Center of Excellence and Innovation. This is our omnipresent safe harbor slide, which states that you should not be making any purchasing decisions on what we're going to be discussing today. And today's session is a part of the Live on ServiceNow. This is a curated event series to connect you with ServiceNow experts and peers that can help you deploy your products and achieve value from ServiceNow faster. And we hope that you're able to join us again at another webinar or meetup. You can see the schedule by scanning the QR code, which is there on your screen, or using the link in the chat, which is also getting provided. Couple of housekeeping things. We do have time at the end of the session for question and answers. Please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen along the way, not the chat button. That way we can keep a track of all the question and answers. And if something is unanswered today, we can track it later as well. Today's presentation is being recorded and this will be shared on ServiceNow community. After the event, you will be prompted to fill out a short survey. Thank you for your feedback. My name is Ashish Sethi. I am a director for ServiceNow Platform Innovation and Enablement. Been with ServiceNow for more than a year, but been working on the platform for more than a decade now. And I've helped many customers during their implementation journey and helping them realize value from ServiceNow platform faster. We have worked with our customers to stand up our ServiceNow Center of Excellence and Innovation and mature that in their journey. And with me today, I have.
Hi, greetings for the day. I am Hussain Merchant, Senior Manager, Platform Innovation and Enablement. We are part of Now team. We use our own ServiceNow solutions as customer zero to get it work faster, smarter, and better.
So hopefully we will be able to give you some more examples of how we have our internal ServiceNow Center of Excellence and Innovation and how we are able to use our services and get value internally. Let's start with a polling question. Do you currently have a ServiceNow focused Center of Excellence and Innovation? And your answers could be, no, I'm hearing it for the first time. And I have discussed it. We're on our way to plan that. It exists somewhat, but maybe not that robust, and we don't follow it consistently. Yes, we have a running CoEI, and we are looking to make it more efficient and better. We will give around 45 seconds for folks to answer this. Please feel free to click on any of the 4 choices which is relevant to your environment, so we can keep a track of it. And once you guys have replied, we will be able to see the polling results as well. Okay. So good to hear that 50% of our participants are hearing it for the first time. I'm sure this will be a very relevant session for you. 23% believe they have discussed, they have heard about it, they are on their way to planning it. 17% believe that yes, in some way, shape, or form, it does exist in their environment. Obviously, they want to make it more better and robust. And 9%, which is a small percentage today, they are running their CoEI and they want to make it much more efficient and faster. I'm sure we will go through a lot of things in today's discussion, which will help you in planning your CoEI. And if you're already running, there will be some tips and tricks on how to continue making it better. Okay. So I was thinking about this session and over dinner with my family. I was telling my kids, I have a 5-year-old boy and a 9-year-old daughter. I was talking to them that, I have this webinar on Thursday, Center of Excellence on ServiceNow, and I am excited about it and obviously a bit nervous as well. They said, Great, Dad, what is Center of Excellence in Innovation? And I said, Yes, happy to explain that. That will give me a prep session as well. And I gave them some technical words, value driven, and all those things. And after 5 minutes of discussion, they said, We didn't get even a single word what you said. And then I said, I felt little, failed that, I'm not able to explain it to my kids. Why? Then I said, Give me a few minutes. I thought about what has happened. How can I explain it to these children? And then I thought about over the summer, entire summer, it's almost over. We had a good time with my parents, obviously their grandparents. And I told them what grandparents are in the family. That is what ServiceNow Center of Excellence and Innovation is in ServiceNow. Your grandparents have a lot of experience. They will teach you life skills. So they will give you that vision and roadmap. They will give you the family values, right? How do you engage? How do you interact with your entire family? How do you keep in touch? Why it is important? Then they will also tell you how to care and support. You might be busy, but they will always be there to support you in difficult times. And that is a very, very crucial element in a family. How do you support each other? And the last one is most important. This is the one I link to innovation. You are so rushed in your day-to-day affair, you sometimes overlook certain things, right? They give you a completely new and fresh perspective to your life. And once I, had gone through these 4 points, explained that to my kids, they were happy. Yes, we understand it. And I felt that I have achieved something and I will be able to successfully conduct this webinar. Moving further, top 3 challenges. So in my past 9, 10 years of experience, I have met a lot of customers where they are in their implementation journey. They have implemented certain products, capabilities, ITSM, HR, or they are in their implementation journey to implement CSM or trying to improve their CMDB with CSDM. Typically, they are looking challenges around how do I get ROI from all the investments which I've made on the platform? How do I grow and innovate, making sure I'm able to uh, innovate with business priorities? And how do I make sure that whatever I work on the platform, it aligns with my business objectives? Those are the top 3, and majority of their challenges boil down to these 3. Today, we're going to be talking about what is ServiceNow Center of Excellence and Innovation. Why is it worth investing in one? Hussein will also give us a deep dive on the 5 steps. How do you stand up a ServiceNow Center of Excellence and Innovation, and how do you run it? And then we have certain things, some action items, takeaways, call to action at the end, what you should be doing next after this webinar. So let's begin by defining ServiceNow Center of Excellence and Innovation. It is an organization model that we recommend customers to stand up to optimize strategic value which they get from ServiceNow platform. CoEI is not only about platform support or architecture, it goes much beyond that. It helps you in consolidating teams, making sure those teams are able to work together for the long-term vision and roadmap, which is our strategy piece. Then you have your business engagement and delivery, which is another function within your COI, which helps you in setting up your priorities whenever any demands comes up, whenever you are delivering new capabilities or apps, they are aligned with your business objectives. Then you have your platform architecture and support piece, which means that you have listed down your development best practices, your user experience, your platform performance, your instance upgrades, everything is of top-notch quality. And the 4th function is around innovation, which means identify and spotting opportunities within your entire enterprise. And then you give a human-centric design thinking touch to all of those. So your COI helps in removing your organization silos and make sure that you are able to realize value faster from the platform. When you
Ashish,
have all these functions, yeah, sir.
Should we have all the functions to begin with or focus on anything specific?
So if you're beginning your journey, good question. And often customers have also asked me this question. I would say business engagement and delivery, the way you are interacting with your business partners and platform architecture and support team, those functions would already be there in your organization. And strategy and innovation is a team where you will have to have additional resources pull in. It's not necessary to have a full-fledged running four functions initially, but in some way, shape, or form, you should have at least some bandwidth allocated to strategy and innovation as well to make sure at least you have some measurable outcomes in those areas as well. So start small, but have a long-term vision where you can beef up these as you mature in your ServiceNow journey. So why should you invest in your time, your resources in a COEI? First point is that it improves your velocity by making sure your teams are able to work together to deliver the required value. Effective COIs improve in strategic enterprise-wide value you deliver because they can promote workflows across your organization. They can provide unified experiences across business lines and departments because you take an effort through the COI to make sure everybody realizes the power of the platform. So you can inspire folks that there is a capability such as low code, no code, where you can build apps and move away from manual processes. Once you do this, you are able to find out opportunities to innovate on the platform as you partner with business and make them understand how the platform works, how workflows work on ServiceNow. Then you are able to identify those opportunities proactively and able to innovate more on the platform. In short, you are proactive and not sitting and waiting for requirements to happen to you, but you are reaching out to the teams and making sure that the power of the platform is aware and it helps in achieving the maximum value from the platform. In this particular case, the COI success will be determined by the value we are able to provide back to the business, because I think business is the most crucial and important piece of your entire organization. Employee productivity, CSAT improvements, and new value creation through app. These are some of the ways through which you can highlight the improvements and value through ServiceNow. I want to ask Hussein, is there an example within Now and Now within internally where we have seen where we have worked across different teams and been able to deliver a value?
Yeah, of course, there is one. Let me share. Like RCOI was able to identify the opportunity to improve processes which cuts over multiple teams and it involves multiple personas related to sales organization like seller, deal desk, order management, and collection specialist, and couple of others. And it was bringing a lot of manual work for these personas. Let's take an example of a use case with the seller persona, where seller generally deals with opportunity and a quote. And if a seller have a very significant day within, let's say, $1 million deal, and they want to have certain level of executive engagement to happen during the opportunity cycle, then they can create the request on ServiceNow platform, which is connected to that particular opportunity. So when they create a request for executive engagement, it has got required attributes like what kind of executive they want, or what is the background of this opportunity, and why they want that executive to be involved and kind of help the executive is expected to give. And when there are executive sponsor engaged in that particular opportunity, they can capture notes for themselves into that opportunity directly. So if we don't have all these things, it will be in the emails and all managed manually. So load of reduction in manual tasks and seamless process with workflow driven approvals and other things. As an outcome, we saw productivity gain, almost zero error, and complete digitization using Now platform.
Okay, good example. So we were able to use App Engine, we were able to collaborate between multiple departments and identify opportunities to make sure we are able to seamlessly have digital workflow around that order to cash process. Okay. So now the question is how to bring enterprise to life. Hussein gave a very good example of how we were able to digitize our order to cash process. I'm going to be talking about an opportunity which your innovation team could find out, and then how that particular opportunity was prioritized and then helped to deliver the value from the platform. Let's take this example of your innovation team was able to identify that there is a better and efficient way for your field workers to report issues from the field. They initially design a proof of concept to build a ServiceNow mobile app. Once that is done, they hand that over to the strategy team, which assesses the potential value of the app, why it is important, why it is crucial, what kind of issues will be reported by it, and then it will assign a priority for that app to be built on the ServiceNow roadmap. Then your business engagement and delivery team will support the rollout at scale, not just by delivering the new capability, by ensuring that there is adequate training as well as change management to ensure there is high adoption across the field workers. Then at the last, your platform architecture and support team will play a role. Make sure you have a support plan for the rollout of that particular app and the new capability is deployed effectively. So all these functions work together cohesively within your COI, and then that's how they bring enterprise value to life. So in this particular case, you spotted an opportunity and made sure that you are able to build that on ServiceNow platform and deliver value to your business. Think of onboarding also as an example where it cuts across multiple functions, your HR team, your security team, your facilities team, IT team. And then we internally also are able to onboard employees and make them working right from day one. And this is one of the areas which is, majority of the organization struggle with how to make sure that my teams and my new joiners have a great experience and are able to effectively work right from day one itself. So what we recommend is 5 steps to standing up a ServiceNow Center of Excellence and Innovation. Step 1 is about setting up your foundation. In this particular step, you have to make sure that you position your ServiceNow COEI as innovation hub for digital transformation. Then you have step 2, which means here you define your COI charter and structure. You make sure that whatever measurable outcomes you will deliver through COI, those are listed. It's a strategic platform for delivering innovation across your enterprise. Then step 3 will be defining your engagement and delivery model. When these new demands will come in, how do you assess those demands from a priority perspective, from a technical governance standpoint? And then how do you assign that priority? How that overall interaction happens? Then define your resourcing model, who all will be the key resources, what all will be their roles, responsibilities, and how your value management strategy will work across those resources. Then the last step is around operationalizing your COI, which means that you publish your training calendar, you publish your communication calendar, platform support and upgrade calendar, so that everybody is aware about COEI and then how you're able to tie the new functionality with the upgrades. And I'm sure many of you would be upgrading later during Q4 as we will have the Vancouver release general availability around September end. So you can start planning for it and make sure whatever new capabilities are there that can be tied to value driven through platform. So I'll ask Hussein to give us a walkthrough of all the 5 steps and a detailed view.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashish, for helping us to understand about what is ServiceNow COEI and why to invest in the COEI. Ashish, if you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So to begin with step 1, let's talk about the prerequisites and when to start the foundation for the Center of Excellence and Innovation. As an outcome of this step, we will have the necessary prerequisites in place. Now, how do we achieve this outcome? Well, we need to define an enterprise vision for ServiceNow COEI. Let's say you have a vision to build and deliver a world-class digital service experience for your employees. Once we have the vision, then we need the strategic drivers to this vision. For example, reducing the time employees spend on low-value and administrative tasks. Here we can leverage RPA capabilities to automate the mundane task and let the employee focus on more strategic tasks. With the help of strategic drivers, we can achieve the desired outcomes like improved employee experience, satisfaction, and productivity. Once you have the vision, strategic drivers and outcomes defined, it needs to be made visible to the executive sponsors. Executive sponsors are the one who can help advance the adoption of ServiceNow across the enterprise and encourage new demands. Now, the question comes up, how do I get the right executive sponsors in place to articulate and support the vision for ServiceNow and in that manner for the COEI? For that, evaluate and identify the right level of executive sponsorship to advance your strategic vision for ServiceNow across enterprise leadership team. Executive sponsors like CIOs, who spend the majority of their time with business partners or customers, are better positioned to support the COEI. They can influence and articulate the strategic vision, and they can help in allocating appropriate budget. If we go a little beyond and have an executive sponsor with innovation experience, this will more likely help to position ServiceNow COEI as a potential engine for innovation in digitizing workflows. For a quick recap
Hussein,
of
I see on the slide that you have mentioned that you should start your COEI no later than 80% on your way to go live. Any particular reason why 80%?
that's a really good catch, Ashish. And if we delay, it's like changing the tire on a moving car. Rather than getting your tire pressure checked before prior to the start of the drive, follow the concept of sooner, the better it is. It helps to drive engagement with the help of executive sponsor to identify innovation opportunities and plan for implementation and adoption of those opportunities. So if we start at the earlier stage, it helps us to provide those opportunity to work on them. And overall, that helps in bringing higher value of outcome. And for a quick recap of step one, to achieve the outcome of foundation step, we need a vision. And to support the vision, we created a strategic drivers. And with the help of the strategic drivers, we can achieve the outcome. And the outcome should be made available to the executive sponsors. Now, as we have set up the foundation, let's move to the next step to define a charter and structure of COEI. As the outcome of step two, we need a clearly defined COI activities and deliverables and how we can measure the success. This is where the build come into picture and the rubber meets the road. Here, the build is nothing but the business functions. Let's take a common example of platform upgrades. As Ashish mentioned in Q4, we are getting Vancouver upgrade, right? So a platform upgrade, let's take that as an example and go through these different functions mentioned here. As part of strategy function, the platform owner who owns the strategy function defines the roadmap, budget, and resources for the platform upgrade and realize the value with latest features and technologies coming as part of this upgrade. Business and engagement delivery function is owned by the development lead and product owners. They own the demand management from platform upgrade and measure the success with timely and within budget upgrade deliverables. The third function, which is about the platform architecture and support function, is owned by the platform architect and lead system admins, who plans for the deployment, evaluate if there is any impact with the instance upgrade, and maintains the technical standards. And they are also ensuring that the platform performance, security, upgradability, maintainability is not impacting any business processes. This function is also responsible for enabling with the latest features coming as part of the upgrade and adhering to organizational change management process, which helps the next function, which is about the innovation function. It is the last function, but the most important one, which is owned by the experience architect. And we have discussed in the previous slide, if we have the experience architect, it helps us to get right into the innovation opportunity. They identify the opportunities to innovate, strategize on experience, and design improvements. Here, the success is measured based on the adaptation of the future and how the opportunities are captured and taken forward from ideation to completion. Now, moving to the step three, how we define our engagement and delivery model. We receive a new demand on the demand dashboard. Demand boards would be different for each product, and it goes the review process aligned to their product team. Product streams, which is the below of the slide, consist of multiple products like ITSM and other. And each product team is comprised of product owner, project manager, process analyst, developers, and product architect. There are two types of requests raised for the technical governance product for review. One, coming from the demand board, requesting for the solution review, and second, coming from the product stream for customization review and approval. Technical governance product reviews, the request, and the technical standards and tracks on technical depth. So far, we talked about the governance and product streams. Now let's dive a little deeper with the COEI and their function and how it helps in engagement and delivery model. COEI receives the demands for sequencing and it takes help from the executive steering board to build a roadmap. When we say about the responsibility of the COEI from the accountability of your governance function, the COEI strategy team can build the roadmap for deploying the ServiceNow capabilities, but the approval should rest with your governance function. COEI, business engagement, and delivery team can build the demand backlog, but they don't own the demand boards. And final prioritization authority should rest with your demand board. The product owners on business delivery team are the ones who should help the stakeholders vet and prioritize the demands, especially the local demands that business line teams can handle are kept at the local level and not moved into the COEI's demand funnel. The COEI's platform architecture and support team should be responsible for defining technical standards and best practices and seeks for approval by your technical governance function. With governance function in place, the COEI helps in developing the roadmap, managing the demand backlog, and defining the technical standards. However, the approval, decision authority, and prioritization remains with the governance function. And we'll discuss more about this governance function in the next session as well. Yes, please go ahead, Ashish.
Yeah, Hussein, I could understand technical governance, manage the technical part, demand board addresses the demands, and then at the top is your strategic governance, which is make sure that all your demands, everything is aligned with the roadmap. But where does the development happen? Does it happen inside the COEI or is it in a specific business functions? And what is the recommended approach towards that?
Yeah, that was some initial question. Even when we started, we got it. So very realistic question. Initially, you will most likely perform the in-house development activities inside the COEI and support them with partner resources as needed. Based on your experience and skills with ServiceNow, as demand and business familiarity grows, you can leverage the no-code and low-code capabilities to start moving the development activities to business line development teams. And as you mature further, your development lead should take on more of a governance, advisory, and leadership kind of a role that remain directly responsible for the development. Here, not that the testing should be centralized. Development lead defines the testing standards and best practices to include unit and user acceptance testing. And we can use here the ServiceNow ATM framework to define our testing at the centralized place. Now let's move to the step 4, which is about defining the right resourcing model. Resourcing model is divided into two parts, the project-based funding and the line item budgets. Project-based funding is owned by and governed by the platform owners. However, the line item budget are owned by the COEI. With project-based funding, we need to work with the PMO, finance and procurement teams for defining the project-based funding and sourcing model. The project-based funding helps to kick off the program, manage the demand growth, and decentralize the development once we start working with the partners. Since demand will require the most headcount growth as in developers, business analysts, and system administrator, make sure you have right contracts in place and with certified partners to allow your development and support efforts to scale quickly. This can also provide clarity into how you should set the project based on funding requests, as you see the level of effort and headcount required for different kinds of the demand. Now, when it comes to the line item budget, you allocate a line item budget to stand up your COEIs that is aligned with the scope of your ServiceNow implementation. You need to establish your initial headcount and funding estimates for your COEI function, and that is based on multiple criteria, like the number of applications you have implemented and plan to implement, the maturity of the process, and the services you are planned to migrate to ServiceNow, the volume and the diversity of the demand, which you are anticipating, which you should correlate to your usage, the complexity of demand based on your rate of organizational change, the complexity of system integration, customization requirement. You can plan for your line item budgets.
Hussein, I think this will be the most contention, where the most contention happens. How many resources or people do you need in the CUI model? What do you recommend?
Yeah, another excellent question, Ashish. Like the total headcount for your COI depends on several factors, as I said, right, including some of the things, but it may not be limited to this. It all depends on what type of volume and complexity of demands you want with your ServiceNow capabilities, how many end users you have, and what geographies you are going to support, your organizational experience with ServiceNow, and the maturity with the current processes and workflows. So this all comprise to identify the total headcount of your COI. And when you grow organizational expertise with ServiceNow, you should be able to shift more resources to business lines or partners to manage the demands. The most significant part is to have the right peoples identified for platform owner, platform architect, development lead, and the experience architect roles. These are all the lead roles who leads and supports each functions outlined earlier. Moving to the next step, which is the last step, step 5, which is about operationalize your COEI and advance your vision for digital transformation. As ServiceNow becomes an enterprise platform, your operating model will need to evolve. It's equivalent to how a business operating model would change as a business enters to a new market. ServiceNow operating model defines how work gets done on the Now platform to create value. The definition should focus on 3 essentials: planning, planning the upgrades, training and communication, and success, with an eye toward keeping it simple and flexible so you can adapt to changing business needs. With planned upgrade, revisit your demand evaluation criteria to ensure that you can apply them consistently to upgrade the demands for the newer capabilities across the enterprise. You should educate new customer on this criteria, and you want to consider representation from across the enterprise on your demand board. We need this across the enterprises because we need to cater the demand for every business functions products. Then if we move to the training part, the key to scale is to shift configuration and development business lines and departments where feasible, using ServiceNow no-code, low-code, and application scope capabilities. Note that as your operating model scales to include more product owners and stakeholders, your governance structure should evolve to ensure you have continued clarity around decision-making processes. As they scale and mature, many customers transition from a platform support team to a center of excellence and innovation. If you haven't yet implemented ServiceNow, we recommend starting with this model so your operating model can scale and mature. This ensures that organization seams don't get in the way as you take to new enterprise demands and deliver value. The essential behind a COEI is to ensure that you remove friction in the organization relationship and handoffs between these functions and the activities they lead. ServiceNow champions are people from different teams and roles. They are team leads, or they can be the process users or the end users, and somebody else who are affected by the ServiceNow implementation and who are willing to help make your ServiceNow project more successful. Champions are important because they help inform implementation planning, communication, and training. And they can help in go live preparation with an understanding of what people in the organization need to be able to adopt ServiceNow effectively. Training is followed by communication, promote channels for stakeholders to nominate, and quickly pilot opportunities for innovation. Consider assigning an experienced architect to focus on adoption and opportunity they can capture. Identifying additional executive sponsors or champions who can communicate success and help stakeholders envision the new opportunities. Your strategy and business engagement and delivery teams should determine the audience, the cadence, and messaging that will align with your organizational change management strategy. And last comes the success. Determine the metrics and the KPIs you will provide to each stakeholder consistently and the cadence you will provide to them. You can use ServiceNow performance analytics or dashboard and reports to support this. Maturing your approach to measurement is not a matter of just adding more metrics, but your effort should instead focus on scaling metrics in such a way that metrics can lead to allow the sponsors and others to take decision making effectively. Work with your process and service owner to develop metrics and reporting that connect to the business outcomes they want. With this, I will hand it over back to Ashish for key takeaways.
Thank you, San, for walking us through all the 5 steps and answering some of the questions on the way as well. So I think towards the end, I would like to end this with 3 key takeaways. So when you start defining and building your COEI, you should not only look at the organization model, but look at how you will interact holistically within the entire enterprise. When you are building your COEI, aim at the enterprise. Whether you start with ITSM, whether you start with HR, you should look at the entire enterprise, how my interaction with my business partner is going to happen, how I'm going to communicate my success, how I will be driving towards business priorities. And once you do that, you set up your COI to make sure you're able to identify innovation opportunities easily across various business lines and teams. So the way you set up the COI will form the foundation and the success of it. The question should be, what actions can you take next? First, time to review the resources you have on Customer Success Center. So you have an entire more than 50 pages success playbook for ServiceNow COEI. And then there are multiple other materials there that will help you getting insights from experts on how to build your ServiceNow COEI. Second, take what you have learned there and have a discussion with your exec sponsor. How can a COI help you improve the velocity and scale the value you deliver with ServiceNow? This is where your insights and experts tips from our playbook will be very helpful. And make sure that your ServiceNow will deliver enterprise workflow transformation, not just IT transformation. So think and dream big when you're building your COEI. And for folks who have already COI in some way, shape, or form, or already running it smoothly but want to make it better, they should continue to invest heavily in communicating the value realization and success stories, particularly with respect to innovation on the platform that demonstrates ServiceNow role as an enterprise strategic platform. Make your scorecard central to your strategic governance meetings, along with your ServiceNow vision and roadmap. So a skilled team member can help you achieve your business goals faster. Review our technical training guide to see how you can use your learning credits. And with ServiceNow Impact, you already have multiple learning credits included in that. On-demand courses, live classes, hands-on labs. Expert services guides your ServiceNow implementation with some of the leading practices to accelerate time to value while reducing the risk. And we can lead your implementation or collaborate with your implementation partner in a co-delivery engagement model to boost your implementation as well as help you realize value. Check out the solution brief to see how you can help set up the implementation path for long-term vision and success. Thank you everyone for joining in today's session. We hope to see you next month in the next ServiceNow Impact Academy session.
Thank you.